More and more people have been debating whether Black students should attend an HBCU or choose a predominantly white institution instead.
Why did you choose a HBCU over a PWI?
For me, I just wanted to be around a culture where everybody
Look like you?
something like that. It was like I always wanted the HBCU experience, so that's why I really chose that.
And what about you? What made you choose a HBCU?
Because I wanted the HBCU experience too.
So you want to go for the culture and you're right, HBCU is not as glorified as they talk about the Howards, the Princetons and the Harvards and stuff like that.
Right.
So I like to see now that it's back to being the thing to do, and they're getting funded so they can, take care of the kids that go there. Because at one point they weren't making any money, and so they couldn't offer any activities or good education like they did back in the day.
Read me why I talk about why I chose to go to a PWI instead of an HBCU as a Black girl. So if you guys didn't know, I got accepted into a college out of state, and I leave mid-August, and it's all the way in Massachusetts. And it is a PWI, which means a predominantly white school. And I've gotten questions from some of you guys basically asking why I'm not going to an HBCU. And to be honest, no shade, a main reason is because I feel like I just wouldn't belong at an HBCU. In my 18 years of living, I don't think I've ever been called whitewashed by a white person, but when it comes to Black people, I don't even have enough fingers for that. And it generally irritates me, because how are you whitewashed because you talk a certain way, or you dress a certain way, or you just like certain things? I don't believe you can act a color, but I get told I act white all the time by Black people. And if I'm being honest with y'all, it's not even I'm trying to be whitewashed. It's just basically how I grew up. I've lived in white suburban neighborhoods my whole life. I don't think I've ever been in a Black community. And I've also been to PWIs since elementary school. I literally went to a private school when I was a kid. So needless to say, I haven't been exposed to certain Black cultures or traditions, or just customs, I guess, that most Black people have. So I feel I don't belong. I feel I literally stand out whenever I'm surrounded by Black people. I don't know how to Dougie, I don't know how to footwork, I don't get my hair done every 2 weeks, I don't get bust down wigs, and I'm not even gonna hold y'all, I do sometimes wish it was different. I do wish I grew up in Black community, because in a way I also feel I don't fit in with white communities, because obviously I'm not white. My friends would be talking about going tanning and how greasy and oily their hair is, and I'm just what? And also whenever I bring up things I don't wash my hair every day, because you're not supposed to, if you have hair I do, that baffles white people. I don't know. I low-key just feel I don't belong in white communities or Black communities, but I do feel I'm just more fitted in white communities. I still stand out because whenever we take group pictures, I'm the only Black person in the picture. My senior year, I was the only Black person on my basketball team, and you could tell. You could tell. With all this being said, I do wish and hope and pray that whenever I go to college, I do find my own group of fellow Black people. I guess just for me personally, I feel it's better for me to go to a PWI and then find a smaller group of Black people from an ASA or a Black BSU. They're fellow Black kids that also are going to PWI, so they probably have the same experiences that I do. I already probably know that I'm gonna be getting whitewash comments on this video. I don't care, it's nothing I haven't heard before.
Some believe HBCUs offer a stronger sense of culture and community, while others say they simply want to study wherever they feel most comfortable.
I always find it interesting when people who went to a PWI have such strong opinions about people who went to HBCUs. And their argument is always, well, we had better resources, I didn't want to go back and forth with financial aid. Okay, that's your experience and that's cool. I personally went to an HBCU because the experience is worth the hassle. I wanted to be surrounded by like-minded Black individuals every single day. I thought that was going to be a key point in my life. The amount of things I learned about myself, the African diaspora, all the people around me, unmatched. You can't get that anywhere else. My favorite is when they try to downplay the education. What are we talking about? If you go to a top 10 HBCU, you're getting a better education than if you go to your state school or your community college. And there's nothing wrong with going to your state school or community college. I just always find it interesting that it's a PWI versus HBCU debate. People go to different institutions for different things. I went to an HBCU because I wanted to experience Black culture in its entirety. Some people go to PWIs because it's cheaper. That was not my decision. But the conversation is always interesting to me because you cannot compare the two. They are absolutely not the same. And as someone who went to the #1 HBCU, I will say for myself, speaking for myself only, that the network, connections, and sisterhood I gained from my institution cannot be beat out by any other institution. Spellhouse in general is a family. And I'm glad I went to a school that feels like family, and I know that if I were to reach out to any Spelman or Morehouse alum, they would do anything they can to help me. And there's nothing beating that experience for me. So I think we should kill the conversation of PWI versus HBCU because they're two completely different experiences. You go for different things, but my experience exceeds. I don't care. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with choosing a PWI or an HBCU. But I always find it interesting that people who go to PWIs always have the strongest opinion on those who go to an HBCU. No one is sitting up here bashing PWIs. We don't care. But the fact that you feel like you need to bash HBCUs says a lot.
For many, it's a personal decision based on education, opportunities, or where they believe they'll fit.
Period. Being at an HBCU was the best time of my life. It is the place where I've met some of my greatest friends, learned so much about myself. And I think that at HBCU, I would not ever take that experience back. And that's why I'm always so quick to go back for homecoming. I'm always so quick to do like an event that's for Black excellence or for the Black community, because it reminds me of those experiences that I had at my HBCU. Being around a lot of Black success was very monumental for me and really helped mold me into the person I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up in the world. And I don't think I would have seen that as much if I had decided to go to a PWI.
But as this conversation continues to grow online, it also raises a bigger question about identity, belonging, and what happens when the environment you choose no longer feels as welcoming as you expected.
I think a lot of people ask, how was it going to an HBCU? It was amazing. But even being amongst so many people that look like you does not eradicate having any type of obstacles or problems or challenges. And for me, originally, culturally, trying to adapt from going from the West Coast to the South and just learning all of the Southern colloquialisms and culture, it was a challenge at first for me. But once I got into the groove, found a good roommate, then everything was amazing.
Today's discussion isn't about saying one decision is right or wrong. It's about exploring why these debates continue to happen.
There's no better choice that I made than going to a HBCU. To this day, I'm in my 30s now, there is no better decision that I feel like shifted my whole entire life than attending an HBCU. For so many reasons. That's why I'm so upset that so many kids are starting deciding like they don't want to do school. I understand people say school isn't for everybody. I went to my HBCU with a lot of kids where school probably wasn't for them, but like you learn so much being around other Black people trying to do better for themselves, trying to learn. It's so contagious, and it's like it's a family that you build. It's something that happens inside of you when you go to a HBCU. It's something empowering that happens.
Why identity remains such an emotional topic, and whether the idea of belonging is really about race, personal experience, or simply finding the people who stand beside you when it matters most.